Reframing Mindset podcast, where I clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to the Frame Mindset Podcast. My name is Carlton Brooks, and this episode is basically so the episode is basically about so you see me with it. So by this episode, you'd actually see me with the iPhone. ah, yeah, the iPhone. And what happened is that you see me with the iPhone, and it wasn't no different than the getting the S22 Plus when I purchased it. Only a subtle difference if you actually realize when I actually purchase it. So when I so both of the phone cost like way over 50,000 or something like that. Where I'm from. And if you actually realize the episode where I realized I unlocked the credit card, I unlocked two credit cards. When I actually was purchasing the and it's gonna relate to the episode I talked about. So um the the funny enough, you see the iPhone and stuff like that. I guess the funny thing about this iPhone is that I got the iPhone, so I can tell it now. I guess it doesn't really matter. I got the iPhone and I said, okay, I'm gonna go out and do a big I was going to do a big unboxing and stuff like that. But if you actually listen, I actually try to make some purchases on this journey, and what happened was that I'm not driving, I'm still taking a taxi when I make these purchases. So what will happen is that I our bus our when I'm making these purchases. So what happened was that you see with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and what happened was that was going to buy some binders or stuff like that to actually keep the car safe, because I said, funny enough, on this journey you're gonna realize th- that's the funny thing about frame of perspective and stuff like that. You're gonna realize that in the adjusting of the levels, in changing of the level of for example, post university versus adult life, what everything you're gonna see us living the life, or see us living the life, or everything like that, and feel like it was so easy, but it was hard work on this journey. It was actually hard work on this journey. So it will seem easy, see us walking out and it seems easy, but it was hard, and there was a lot of pitfall on the journey, lot of learning on the journey. And now it's easy, but it took a lot of learning to actually get this reach this far, and it seems so seamless. Seems so seamless. So basically, what this episode is basically saying. So I let's see with the iPhone and stuff like that. So if you actually remember when I got the other phone, when I made another purchase and stuff, well, it, what happened was that I was using, I have to realize I have two cards, two CC cards. I have some issue actually unlocking the rest. But I guess if you actually make it up money anyway, you can actually go and unlock the rest. But what happened is that phones at these prices are expensive, way more than $50,000, and not only that, in this year I'm talking about home ownership, I'm paying bills and stuff like that, you're gonna realize that these stuff are gonna get way expensive. Gonna become way expensive. So I have the car and I was making purchases. So in this at this point now in 2025, what happened was that the credit card now is giving me the cashback rewards, the cashback rewards, and what you realize is that cashback rewards is basically not saving you money in the sense that saving the money in the sense that when you start off the year, more money is in your whatever account, your savings account, or wherever you are taking the money to pay the card from. More money is in your account the year after you make those purchases, because what happens is that when the next year comes and you're getting the cashback rewards, you instead of you going out and be like, for example, January you're going to see, for example, you're going to make a purchase, so you're using the same knowledge that I taught you. Check, remember the dates. When I get the credit card, the dates become important. You have to pay the credit card before the dates come and everything like that, paying. And then what happens that boom, you use those knowledge, then you make it to the new year and you get your rewards. And you be like, and you don't understand how the rewards, how I'm out there saving money with the rewards and stuff like that. So what happened is that, just like for example savings, you savings and be like, oh yeah, people savings, uh um savings, the savings I get like 10.00% on savings and stuff like that, and seem so minuscule. So just to say to you, it's just starting out with the card and stuff like that. The rewards, the higher the rewards are very very lucrative, but the lower rewards seem so minuscule. But it's the principle. Once I get the principle down, you can grow, and then it becomes a forever game where you can get way more up and stuff like that. But essentially, what happens is that the cashback rewards, when you start off the year and you get back the money, you get the reward. Be like, oh, you start off with $700 in the new year with credit cards, and be like, okay, I'm saving that amount. I'm getting that amount in savings, and be like, oh, you get that because I spend that amount, I get that as saving. How it works is that the when you're going to make purchases the new year, the how you're saving money is that you're when it's time for you to pay back the month, because you're using the same principle, making the purchases, I'm watching your credit limit and everything like that, and be like, oh yeah, I'm taking my time, spending, not overspending my income on it. What happens is that because you made it to the new year and get the rewards, the first statement comes and say, for example, you're gonna say, okay, fifth, I made 60,000 this month or 70,000 this month. And your credit limit is like 50 or something like that. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna pay back the 50,000 immediately as the statement comes, or before the statement comes, using that same principle. What happens is that when you pay back the 50,000 or anything like that, or check your statements, you're gonna realize, or check how much you're paying back. You're gonna realize that, for example, you make $50,000 of purchase. You're gonna realize that, okay, when it comes to pay back, you're gonna realize that, oh, I have to pay back only 49,300, 300, and it's like, Why? And it's like, oh, it's because that's how you actually save the money. That's how you actually save the money. So when you're paying back that now, that extra $700 stays in your account. It actually stays in your account. So that's how you actually save the money. You save the money in the sense that you you are actually you save the money in the sense that you're actually uh let me see. You're actually you're saving money in the sense that you're actually getting the you're you're paying less back. You're paying less back to to the bank. So the money stays in your account. So next year again, you're saving. I make like okay, I'm making like 100,000 per month this year and stuff like that. I have the same. Say for example, you have the same credit limit, same $50,000 limit, and stuff like that. You can make that purchase, pay back the money, make some purchase again, and be like, okay, I'm gonna make like 50,000 purchases this year because I know that now. By the end of the year, when I get the rewards again, it's very much possible for you to actually be like, oh yo, using that logic, be like, yo, 1 year if you just keep on using it like that, you just that card just infinitely making you money because you always when it's time for you to pay back, the rewards is actually coming. The rewards is always there. The reward is the reward is always there. The reward is always there, and you're not paying. The reward is there, and you're not paying back much. What you're basically saying that because you're there, so you understand the concept of is not when you're paying back, you'll be like, okay, now I have to pay back 40,000 each time because you spend so much. That 40,000 now gets right, right off. I'll be like, oh yeah, they don't have to pay that off. It's like you have that extra money in your account, and it's like that's how that simple cashback thing works, where you because you're out there making that basic payment each the next year you actually start getting the rewards you're paying less back each payment, so that becomes your savings. So your each month you're there to start so this year start off with $700. Next year you start now with maybe 12 or maybe $1,000, and then grows because the rewards will just keep on paying you the more you use the credit card and stuff like that. So but using that logic now, what happened was that this purchase for the iPhone so was it costs like way over my credit limit. So I have to have two cards. So because I use the two cards now, I had the option of paying, for example, I could use the credit card once and then pay with cash. Use that and pay with card with a debit card. I could use two debit card. And what happens is that because that's the funny thing about it, and you're gonna realize that okay, sometimes you're not in that stage where you can upgrade your credit limit as yet. And even if you're actually able to upgrade your credit limit, you're gonna realize that the price of this is not even the latest phone. If, if I were to able to upgrade my credit limit, I myself couldn't even afford the latest phone with, even if my credit limit was updated. So I had to use it both cards. But because I was using both of the credit cards, I could pay those. When I pay those stuff, I get rewards, and I made and all the money now, all for example, this is what that I pay is saved. His money I get back a certain amount saved. That next year I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna pay back less. I can use that to buy another phone and stuff like that. So that's gonna actually that's what going to actually happen in these upcoming year. Will be like to see me with, for example, better and better phones, and you'll be like, how in the world is he getting better phones? How in the world you get the iPhone and stuff like that? You're gonna realize that okay, because I'm using two credit cards and stuff like that. I'm able to get the most. Uh, because I'm using two credit cards, I can all the price is getting absorbed by the credit card and turn into the relevant rewards. So I'm not using cash. So next year, of course, this was a really big purchase and it requires two credit cards to make the purchase. But next year now, when I make those purchases, and that's funny thing about those high end purchases, over time those points accrued, and what happens is that those results in bank saving. I save money in the bank, and when I save money in the bank, that can then turn into me, for example, make able to make more purchases, make more. So this phone, this iPhone, if it's not later, it will be like a want purchase. It will be a want purchase. So I could actually do more want purchases going to the future, and and because my needs purchases would be met because and then my want purchase is getting way more manageable, way more within reach with the savings from the cashback rewards or stuff like that for my credit cards. I'm actually just making my wants are becoming less less out of reach, and then you see then after you see me out there with the latest iPhone and be like, yeah, it's because my the whole price of the phone gets absorbed by credit card, and that now becomes a drop in a bucket. So that this will be the simple concept now, but when if you actually see me with always using the latest products, like it's in using the latest products, and be like, okay, this is the best or everything like that, you're gonna realize this is the simple concept that I use. I was use and then use that to build up as well. So that going to your 30th year as of as I mentioned, when I realized that certain it's going to be harder to do this stuff so because in your younger years you don't have this credibility. So you use these small beginnings to build up your credit and your ability, your trust, your reputation and everything like that. To say that when you see yourself living the life, it's because you take your time building up your reputation and stuff, and those stuff will change you in your youth. You just need you're able to be like, okay, now when you're going down and you see people doing weird stuff like using two credit card to pay for something, be like, oh, they oh, because actually I went to the same store, be like, oh, they I remembered you last year. I remember you this making a purchase with using the credit the debit kind of credit card. If now I see you now making it somewhat similar purchase with a credit with two credit cards. Next thing you know, it's you know if you're making a purchase with only one credit card and buying two of this with only one credit card and then buying the next one and stuff like that. And it's like oh example, those were this understanding how the cashback works, uh, how it works makes you able to go and confidently use it and be like, okay, no, we can actually work with this now. Now I see the benefit of using the card. I'm saving more money is actually in the bank when I more money is left in the bank when I use this card because I'm saving money. More money is saved on the card. More money more money is saved on the card. More money is in your I should say more money is in your bank account because you are when it's time for you to pay back the rewards is telling you that okay this this is the amount of money because you've been using the credit card you we are giving you this we are giving you this and because you've been using the credit card and paying back your that's next thing right you're using the credit card and you're paying back your fees on time because you're already using the credit card and paying back the fees on time. They're rewarding you by giving you certain points. So what the points is basically is giving you the points well for the card I'm using now. The points is saying that okay, when it's time for you to pay back your money, pay back pay back the money, you're gonna pay back 0.25% less on each going forward. So I'm getting on each purchase. So the next year now when after I get back all those rewards now that extra 2.25% on all those purchases and stuff like that is in my bank account. So what is in my bank account? So this relates to the episode about reinforcing your location. What happens is that even if it's a small amount, like for example, 750 or $500 and stuff like that, it's gonna be very motivating where you start the next year, and you'll be like, okay, it's time for me to pay back that 50,000 again this month. And go back and check your statement and be like, oh, you only need to pay 49,500. And what will happen is that at that time, you because you're so used to the routine, you'll be like, okay, that is nothing. And you just be like, oh, it's 500. If you're that person, be like, oh, it's just that. Then 1 year now, you're gonna be like, okay, you're reading your statements and now and be like, okay, time for you to pay back your stuff and be like, 30,000. You spend like $50,000, so you spend a limit and stuff like that. But when it's time to pay back, it's like, oh, it's only 30,000 because the points is being accrued up. And then boom, you do that again, and then boom, see only 50. Like, oh, it's only 50,000 that you to pay back. No, it's only 10,000 that you need to pay back. And it's like, what? And you do that purchase, and it's like, because you've been accruing the points. So that's the concept you're gonna see where for example, if you see me using the latest phones or anything like that, they're gonna be like, oh, this was the latest concept and then see me driving a luxury, everything like that. You see like, oh yeah, this is see you driving a Tesla, everything like that. Like, oh yeah, this was the basic concept we use and be like, oh yeah, we save the money driving around and then using the limit and then just saving. And then what happens is that because you're saving that money, you talk about so stock market, there, stuff like that. You can invest some of that money now into the stock market, and say that you invest in the stock market, open another account, invest. I could go do that now. See me invest in Tesla. So when you look at one of the Tesla fan, the ultimate Tesla fanboy, like, oh my god, I was 2025 now, you know, and people are talking about Right now, maybe in 2025, keep talking about the fact that Tesla is down and all that. It's like, oh, well, the thing is, I could actually, they could even afford to invest in Tesla. I even know the investment in I just want it. So one day, see me as an investment, and then I become a player and be like, oh my god, I invest in Tesla. And be like, what? The people are like, why you invest in Tesla? I said, Tesla fun boy. I'm a Tesla fun boy, bro. This is what I've been working towards for years. See me at the same investment. Don't care if you go higher or low. When I actually, yeah, I will definitely care if you go higher or low. But the first thing is able to invest in it. Then after be like, okay, then I care if you higher or low. Be like, oh my god, I'm a Tesla. I'm a Tesla stock owner. I own some share, buy some share every year. But this will be the basic. So if you actually senior, if you're living that life, yeah, this will be the basic concept that you use, and then it just compounds and work, and then you senior live that life. And yeah, they are just living that life. But this is a basic episode. But thank you for listening. Look forward for the episode. I guess this is my if you actually listen to that, Tesla fun boy. Yeah, so yeah, well, okay. Back in the days, it's spectator was after watching the video, the kids that video. Most people that they wouldn't even know. Well, the OG fans that people after know me, I always say they'll always see people that driving cars, but until the Tesla, they didn't even care, no one even care about cars. And they see me with the Tesla, and be like, every day people talk about stock, and be like, yeah, invest in Tesla. Then one day see me invest in Tesla, and be like, oh, Tesla, Tesla. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, when I first see you living that life, be like, yeah, but people actually know, be like, yeah, for years, bro. For years I've been saying, for years I've been actually saying Tesla. People here are all this stuff, are SpaceX, all this. This is for years. And what will happen is that you'll see me living that life and be like, yeah, yeah. I didn't even know these stuff were possible. It's just like, yo, one day you know it's a living that life. And, Tesla. You know, Tesla. Yeah. We're gonna be the life. Yeah. It's gonna be. And it's hard work to reach this guy. That's one thing. It's hard work to see me talking to. That's the funny thing. You see me living this life. The next thing is that on the other side of it, I could be not. I could be not alive. That's the funny thing about after doing so. On the other side of it, I could not be alive. I have to be grateful for that. So after 2 years on this life, is one thing to say, yeah, we currently there. But the next thing is that we could actually not be alive. So that's the next thing about achieving this stuff is the feat. The great thing about achieving this feat is that on the other side of it is that we could actually be not alive. So so the price of reaching this stuff is actually very rewarding. It's very rewarding on the other side of it. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. So, I said this video recording right now is actually something to be grateful for and intentional for ourselves. So, thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter @ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.